Let's jump right into the sunless expanse of Dark Camelot. Today, we're unpacking a grim, dark fable that acts as a terrifying mirror for our own minds. We're looking at the legendary Pale Inquisitor, and through him, we're going to explore a brilliant Fichtean dialectic. It's a clash of ideas where a strict, purist rule creates its own chaotic opposite until they finally collide. It's basically a map charting human perfectionism and self-sabotage, and it is absolutely fascinating. Life itself is a transgression. Man, that is a devastating line. But it perfectly captures the early purist philosophy of the Pale Inquisitor. We're talking about a spectral judge, a ghost of law operating on the uncompromising belief that your very existence is a mistake, just waiting to be punished. Imagine living with an entity that doesn't just judge your actions, but fundamentally views your messy human vitality as a crime. Before we cross deeper into the myth, we need to understand what this entity represents inside our own heads. The Pale Inquisitor is the ultimate embodiment of your necrotic superego. We've all got an inner critic, right? Well, a necrotic superego is that critic taken to its most destructive, rotting extreme. It's a spectral judge that actively hunts down your spontaneous thoughts and literally feeds on your internalized shame. Let's look at the architecture of guilt and the immense weight of the iron anchor. As we step onto the Iron Bridge, you'll notice the Inquisitor isn't just floating around passively. He is heavily armed. His magnetic robes of iron filings pulse with this ravenous hunger. He doesn't wait for you to confess. Instead, his garments actively attract the heavy, jagged debris of every single disharmonious desire you've ever hidden away. And underneath, he wears armor acting as a penitential garment, literally etched with the names of every failed ancestor. It creates what the lore calls a crushing gravity, turning an entire lineage into an anchor of past shame. He actually silences his own spirit just so he can better hear the rattling chains of the people he observes. The really crucial point here is that this iron bridge he rules over, it's not a path to progress. You aren't crossing over to a healthier state of mind. It's a platform for suspended stagnation. It's a trap, specifically designed to keep you paralyzed and weighed down by the shame of your past, forever hovering over the abyss but never allowed to move forward. Which brings us to his core method, purification through subtraction, and the toll of the spectral bell. This is where we see the brutal anatomy of guilt at work. The Inquisitor views the human spirit as a messy draft. So how does he edit it? Well, first, you, the seeker, feel a flicker of original impulse, maybe just a shadow of a doubt. Instantly, a spectral bell tolls in the borderlands of your psyche, marking the exact death of that spontaneous thought. Then, the Inquisitor descends with an internal scourge to punish the infraction. And finally, that forbidden impulse is meticulously recorded in his massive ledger of regret. This ledger literally quantifies the burden of human transgression. It's written in the ink of regret. This secret shame is so potent that other entities actually feed on it. The Crow, for instance, uses it to power its black harvest of cynical knowledge. Through this relentless, painful editing process, the Inquisitor's ultimate goal is to reduce your vibrant soul down to a single, blank page, a complete vacuum. But nature abhors a vacuum. That leads us to the wild verdant trap and the bloom of verdant iron. Here's where that Fichtean dialectic kicks in. The thesis, absolute purity, spawns its own horrifying antithesis, violently repressing your primal id-driven instincts, which the myth calls the silver wolf, doesn't destroy them. It just makes them way more volatile. This triggers a dark apotheosis via an emerald staff. The spectral judge is horrifically reborn as the Inquisitor of the Overgrowth. He abandons the quest for the blank page and instead enters a symbiotic trap with the darkness he wanted to erase. He weaponizes the silver wolf into the wild verdant, entangling your psyche in a suffocating web of verdant iron. He becomes, as the text chillingly puts it, a monastic warden guarding a living grave. He's a martyr for a law that offers absolutely no salvation. It proves that absolute perfectionism, whether it's through subtraction or a suffocating overgrowth of rules, ultimately just builds a tomb for your own spirit. So how do we escape the trap? Let's look at the vanishing point and achieving the holy whole. If the thesis is the blank page and the antithesis is the suffocating overgrowth, we need a synthesis. The synthesis to this psychological nightmare is a state called the holy whole. It's a state of perfect silence, where there's simply no noise left for him to record. You see, the Inquisitor's entire existence, his magnetic robes, his heavy ledger, relies entirely on the noise of your self-doubt and perceived transgressions. Without that friction, he starves. Once you reach this terminal point of perfect silence, something incredible happens. The crushing gravity stops. The magnetic pole of the Inquisitor's soul simply fails. Without the fuel of your internal friction, the spectral judge dissipates completely into the gray fog. And here's the ultimate revelation of the fable. He was never an external monster. He was only ever as real as your own internalized sense of guilt. You were the one holding the gavel all along. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. What noise, what friction, what hidden shame are you producing right now that's keeping your own Pale Inquisitor alive? What secret shame can you forgive yourself for today to finally silence the bell of your inner critic and step off that iron bridge?